Yeah, let's get back into the event here. Sorry, I was busy for a few days. Okay. Oh, we don't have to do the support thing anymore. I don't know what's there. Okay, yeah, assassin. Yeah, I was gonna summon, planning on summoning Gramps, today, but, sadly he isn't available for some reason. I don't know why. Oh wait, don't have one. This place is much bigger than it needs to be. That's partly because there's also an emergency shelter here, and no one... fuck. One never knows when one might need it. We're prepared for anything here. We have food and medicine alike in ample supply. I see. So where's this medicine we need? I think it was on the shelf. Oops. There goes the bottle. Now! Perfect timing. Ugh, my head. Salazar, what's wrong? I just remembered. That's it, Salazar. Now you go into assassin mode. Wait, something's not right. Are you alright, Salazar? That is not my name. How dare you? A truly riveting performance, but I do think he's taking it a bit too far. Seems as though he truly lost his mind. Method actors. Oh, he's a ghost. Look at his mind, he's lost his freaking humanity, can't you tell? His servant spirit origin is falling apart like a house of cards. He practically is a goddamn vengeful spirit now. Oh right, I won't do it all. Then it's time to stay protected while the case gets closed. No, this is still my seed! Leave him to me, Wait, did I skip something? Leave it to me, all you need to concern yourself with is capturing my glorious calm, my prowess on film! Sorry, Birdwing, you snooze, you lose. I'm gonna see how this ghost likes to punch in the face and get roasted alive. Or dead, whatever. Frothing more than usual today. Alright,
いいでしょうよくせいもろいこの程度か
George doesn't seem to be dying that well.
よかろうダジャクダジャクこの程度かはい
はい
せいもろい
I hate vengeful ghosts, as you can see right there.
この程度か
And terror ghosts and all that shit.
では行くぞ
One of the most annoying enemies.
よかろうせいダジャクダジャクこの程度かこの程度かはいよかろうダジャクダジャクこの程度かこの程度か
ステータスアップこれで耐えます
ファラオの真意を見るがいい地上にあってファラオに不可能なし万物万象我が手中にあり
落ち着いて信念
褒美をやろう
会長
光なき者
それは全ての傷 全ての怨恨を癒す我らが故郷。権限せよ、ロード・キャメロット。
全能の神よ、我が業を見よ。そして平服せよ。我が無限の好機、太陽はここに降臨せり。ラムセウム・センティース。
There we go. Good job, Ozzy.
勝利の天秤はこちらに傾いたようです。お疲れ様でした。
George is probably happy he didn't die. It is rare for him not to. Zozo, step out of it already! My apologies, I don't know what came over me. What the hell, Salazar? You turned into a goddamn monster, what gives? X-nay on the answer, mate. So you have finally settled down, good. I'm surprised the cannon sound affected you so dramatically. You must have been through something especially traumatic. You could say that, it was a cannon blast that killed me. Oh. At least now I can finally introduce myself properly. My name is Bartholomew. Bartholomew Roberts. Oh, the famous pirate. I have never heard of him. I never would have guessed it since you're so different from the other pirates we know. I'm delighted to hear a lady with such beautiful hidden eyes say so. Well, Jorah, we could have figured this out much sooner if we only had Blackbeard take a look. Oh well. I would call Sir Blackbeard saying he doesn't look at all like the other guy's face closely enough to tell him apart. Ah, so the old bastard's here too, huh? I know even as I say how unlikely it sounds, but I hope he hasn't causing me too much trouble. On behalf of Pirates and Dasherman everywhere, I apologize for his entire existence. It would only be one thing if times were peaceful, but under the certain circumstances, at any rate, there's nothing we can do about it now. Bartholomew, it looks like you're... please don't worry your beautiful head about me, milady. This dashing man was fated to disappear along with his singularity anyway. Even now, he's trying to sell us on how dashing he is. Maybe that sort of bluster is what I've been lacking. My spirit origin has always been an ember on the verge of flickering out. It just happened to exhaust what little I had left in the battle. There's no need for you to concern yourself, Master. So this is where we part ways. It was enjoyable while it lasted, Bartholomew. Master, I can't tell you how grateful I am for you to give me a new role to play when I had none to look forward to but disappearing. I'm so sorry my leaving you like this will only make things harder for you. Forgive me for leaving in the middle of all this. Bartholomew. By the way, about the lovely lady with the beautiful bangs. You realize there's more to master her bangs, right? I'm sorry for being so crude. I wish I could stick around to see this film completed, so if anything, I really regret not being able to do so. If I ever see you again, I hope you'll show it to me. Well, farewell everyone, farewell beautiful lady with the hidden eye. Was something that's passed about that, hidden eye sort of thing? So also, I mean, Bartholomew. What is your obsession with my eyes being hidden anyways? That's your first question? Honestly, I'm not sure either. Yeah, beats me. Maybe that's just fetish. People are into different stuff, I guess. I see. Yeah, it could be. I wouldn't worry about it if I were you, Max, but you should really brush up on this shit, Serbian film. Especially before Mr. God's gift to women shows up for real. Now that you formed a connection with him, he's bound to come back sooner or later. Anyway, now what do we do? Good question. I'm not sure here if there was anything we could do now that he has disappeared. This is indeed quite a pickle. I'm sorry, Master, we caught Salazar losing his mind and attacking Vargas. If we had it well enough... Unfortunately, I'm not sure it will be sufficient. There is no way to film the story we originally envisioned without a scene where Salazar reveals his true identity and motive. At best, it would be just be a muddled mess for your audience. What should we do about the last half of the scene where he turns into a vengeful spirit? Something symbolism, I guess. Very well then, we shall just have to come up with a different climax.
If only it were that easy. We already filmed the scene with Salazar and Vargas going to look for medicine in the storehouse. With 2 people going in and only 1 coming out, it would only stand the reason that Vargas killed Salazar.
What was that? Well, technically I suppose Vargas did kill him.
We could always just leave that scene out, of course, but that presents us with other problems.
Right, it would be like very strange for Salazar to suddenly turn up dead or just disappear from the film.
However, we do have a scene where Salazar and Vargas hit each other at the same time. If we made it so that Salazar inflicts a fatal wound at Vargas, and Vargas sums up the laughs of his strength to take Salazar down with him, resulting in both of their deaths. I think that may give us the most options for continuing the story naturally. How does that sound?
Interesting. So my choice is either to become the villain or to exit the movie for good. This is a pickle. Well, logically, both Vargas and Salazar would have to die here.
Unfortunately, there was no time for any reshoots. We'll simply have to use the footage we already have.
White Murasaki didn't seem likely to wake up anytime soon, and our top priority is to finish the movie, so... I never even considered what my role might end up like this. But very well, as much said, finishing the movie comes first, so I will accept Vargas' death.
Besides, Isidora and Adriana have been getting enough screen time anyway. Examining the criminal scene should be a perfect opportunity for them. We should be able to fake Salazar's corpse with a mannequin and leftover outfit from his dressing room. As for Vargas, you can simply lay on the floor and pretend to be dead, Pharaoh.
The thing I found scene involved me playing dead body. Amusing, this is most amusing. It seems nothing ever quite goes as planned in the making of a movie. What should they say when they're examining the bodies? I'm not coming up with anything.
You and Tristan there should figure something out while we get ready to shoot. We can say the reason that Salazar turned up Vargas for the conclusion. At last, we can always chalk it up to somehow being the true culprit's doing.
Easy for you to say, your character's dead. Fuck's sakes.
As long as it doesn't turn out Miguel was actually alive the whole time, I can get away with saying whatever I want.
You probably should have been keeping your mouth shut on that one. You just shot yourself in the foot. Now things could work out so that you end up getting blamed for all the crimes.
Ahem. And anyway, we need to get back to filming. Come now, everyone. Let's all do our best to finish strong.
What was that? Whatever it was really loud. Thank goodness you're alright, Elise. Everyone come quick. We found Vargas and Salazar in the storehouse dead. Vargas is dead? No way. We should go see for ourselves. You can grieve for your friend afterwards. Vargas, it can't be happening. They're both dead. It looks like they killed each other. Which one of them attacked first? Vargas would never ambush anyone. It looks like you're right. Vargas went out from a wound on his back. Salazar must have attacked him from behind. He probably meant to kill Vargas with one strike and hit the body somewhere. But he obviously failed, leaving Vargas with just enough strength to strike back. Nobody could have taken Vargas down in a fair fight, not even if it was 3 against 1. He must have known he wasn't going to make it, so he made sure to take Salazar down with him. It looks like they knocked each over a bottle of volatile chemicals during the fight. That was almost certainly the cause of the explosion we heard. Salazar must have already known he couldn't talk his way out of it. We could have interrogated him and gotten to the bottom of this all faster if just one of them had survived. What's wrong, Detective? You haven't said a word. Mr. Pogioli is also known as Isidoro the Sleeper because he always gets very quiet whenever he's considering evidence. It's true. As we speak, my mind is evaluating all the possible at a dizzying pace. Did you say you were known as Isidoro the Reaper before? Hypnosis and Thanatos are said to be brothers. That's my Sleeper and Reaper personas, the 2 sides of the same coin. Whatever, just stop bragging to tell us what you figured out already. I can, not when the culprit is listening. Oh, and you're saying one of us is the culprit. I will leave that to your imagination. For now, all I can say is this. There is no case so inscrutable that I, Isidoro Pogioli, cannot solve it. You may sit back and rest assured that I have matters well in hand. I do say that every good story needs a surprise, but usually a story is more than just a series of plot twists and songs. Ah, if only Sir Bartholomew hadn't disappeared.
Good grief, it looks like we just have to come up with an ending for the story after all.
Now we better stock up with pens and paper while we still have the chance. Quite honestly, I would prefer that cast arrive at a natural conclusion themselves.
Hey, Holmes, there's something that's been nagging me for a while now.
What might that be?
Instead of going to Hokusai about the painting, wouldn't it have been better to start off by asking Moriarty?
I beg your pardon.
Like you said yourself, Murasaki's condition was an unfortunate accident. So since Moriarty didn't do anything wrong this time, you could just easily have asked him since he had to been a day or two. I know you two are mortal enemies and everything, but in this specific instance, I don't think he has anything to hide.
Were that the case, he should have brought up the portrait before we had thought to investigate it.
True, if he wanted the film to go smoothly, he could have mentioned the portrait being read on the first chance he got.
I don't care for the way it was on the information while silently waiting for it to see what the rest of... Fuck! I don't care for the way he was on the information while smartly waiting to see what the rest of us will do without it. Even if called him out, he just claimed it slipped his mind, and that would be that.
I get how you feel, Holmes, but that still doesn't explain why you didn't ask him.
Fair enough, I don't know if this will convince you, but here it is. I'm a detective, so I believe I have an obligation to solve any mystery I come across.
Don't know where that came from, but okay, I doubt there's any mystery you couldn't solve, but never mind that.
However, there's a phrase that takes place while learning about the mystery I'm about to solve. A phase where I'm examine all facts closely, free of preconceptions, and try to notice anything that seems out of place. In the meticulous questioning of everything, the relevant facts come to light, and the mystery reveals itself.
So you're saying your approach revolves around the careful examination and questioning what you observe?
Right, but on the flip side, also mean that one cannot engage in a case without examination and attendant suspicion. And when it comes to preventing a detective from seeing matters clearly, and therefore suspecting them, there is no more criminal than devious than James Moriarty.
Wait, really? How does that work when him just being around makes everyone naturally suspicious?
There is such a thing as being too suspicious, you see. It makes it difficult to determine how much one should suspect other things, and ultimately making it impossible to focus on proper issues in a case. I'm certain the whole reason he was able to rule the underworld for so long was because it made sure to never be anywhere that would arouse suspicion. In 19th century London, he would dispense his criminal schemes to others while raising altruistic presence from their surroundings. He ruled his network like a spider waiting in the middle of its web, all while remaining completely out of sight. If nothing else, it was an impressive feat. It even took me some time to be certain my suspicions were correct. Not to mention a painful sacrifice.
His presence was really that invisible, huh?
It would be easy to interrogate him now, but in doing so I would also be showing my hand as to his method of thinking and questioning. Given that there's no telling what he and I might be on opposing sides again, I prefer to give him as few opportunities as possible to learn how I think. Even so, if I'm going to investigate a case he's involved in, my only choice is to discover the core mystery while remaining as hands-off as I can.
So he doesn't want Moriarty to learn how he thinks, huh? Maybe not just Moriarty. Never mind. Basically, you're saying it's your examination suspicion to let you see a mystery before you, and if you have needed it, there's no mystery, So we have an arguably the world's greatest detective and a Napoleon crime talking about a complicated relationship.
Oh, if it isn't Miss Tristan, how can we help you? Mr. Tristan. I was hoping you could tell me something, Sir Holmes. How exactly does a detective, detect? I'm afraid I've arrived at a realization that I have no idea how to be a great detective, only if I ever went and declared that my character was one. Now I don't know what to do. I see. Well, you certainly asked a very fundamental question. I only accept this role because I thought of following Murasaki's single script would make me look good. But now I'm at a complete loss for words. All I can do is stand around like a scarecrow. No, it's even worse than that. At least scarecrows have some use, even if it's only keeping crows at bay. I'm so sad right now.
A scarecrow, huh? I'll have to remember that one.
It's hardly funny. We had way of filming going where scarecrow impersonation may well be preserved for posterity forever. I don't even want to think about how Sir Bedivere would pity me if he saw me like that. I see. Very well, Mr. Tristan. I understand your concerns. But to be quite honest, my particular brand of deduction is rather beyond your abilities. That's not just honest, it's brutal. Now, don't misunderstand. I'm still prepared to give you your advice. All that means is that my deduction is well suited to puzzles where the situation's unknown. It's not so keen at filling in bits of the middle in matter of aptitude. I see. Never mind him, that's just his poor attempt at humor. I assure you I'm quite serious. Now then, Mr. Tristan, what sort of deductions would you like to make? I'd like to make everyone go, of course, now it all makes sense in admiration. I'd have them cement me as Sir Tristan, the smartest and most handsome knight at the round table. God damn it. Nothing too spectacular. That sounds like quite a tall order. For one thing, the round table is quite many handsome knights. Knights always strive to be the best in everything we do. Having minds as sharp as a thief or cannonball is but one of many examples. Well, unfortunately, as I said, I don't know the first thing about playing a detective, so I am at a loss. Truly turning your substance to my ear, Tristan, deciding what your goal is first, and then find a path towards it. What do you mean by that? So he means a plot with a foregone conclusion. Once you know how it ends, all you have to do is come up with a story that fits it. Precisely. First, decide on the truth you would like to see. The more interesting, the better in this case. Next, find all clues to put the truth, not simply set aside any that do not. This should lead you towards choosing sufficiently compelling for your audience to ignore any loose threads you may have. Of course, it will be a severe problem if the police or district attorney handle investigations in this way, but since this is a movie where there's nothing but entertainment at stake, it should be fine. I see. Thank you, Holmes. This has been a revelation. I now know exactly what I have to do. Come up with a shocking and compelling truth. The explanation will simply follow that. I'm not convinced. I got a feeling you can still inadvertently turn this story into a comedy. Well, if you don't mind me just rattling things off the top of my head, I could share some ideas with you. I appreciate the offer, but as a matter of fact, I just came up with a brilliant idea myself. Is that so? I have my doubts, but alright. It's a dick move to get unsolicited criticism of someone's story. I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Not to worry. I propose I live up to next, exceed your expectations. Now, if you'll excuse me. However this turns out, we can only be sure that so much we can do until Miss Murasaki wakes up. From here, we may as well just sit back and enjoy the show. You're not wrong, but that's a hell of a way to put it. Well, however this turns out, it should be entertaining to say the very least. It's a dick move to get unsolicited criticism of some story. I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Not to worry, I promise I will live up and exceed your expectations. Now then, if you excuse me, you'd better tell Master right away. You guys will hear that? I'm not usually in the habit of eavesdropping, but I simply couldn't help but oversee it here in this case. Hey, it's not our fault he didn't even notice we were here. Anyway, this explains why he's been so quiet during the filming so far. I guess in one sense he's felt more present than any of us. Anyways, I guess we can't just wait for Tristan to present his ideas for conclusion to Master. In this case, maybe I'll have a little bit of fun myself. I'm glad I happened over here now, just might be able to tie everything together after all. I still need to live up to Queen Mary's expectations, so what would Antonio do? Maybe, just maybe. Master, I need to talk to you. What's up? I believe I found a way to bring this movie to a satisfying conclusion. Just give me, let's say, 30 minutes to collect my thoughts. On second thought, maybe an hour just to be safe. Is this true? You've been stealing my thunder thus far, so I plan to make sure I at least go out with a bang. That sounds great. I can't wait to see it. Okay, I'll let everyone else know. Alright, time to come up with something that will blow everyone away. Remember that day, my fellow knights at the round table? Today is the day Sir Tristan, knightly detective, burst onto the scene. All I have to do now is decide on the culprit before the hour's up. I'm counting on you, future me. I haven't seen Tristan this excited in a while. I guess that means we'll be done filming soon. It looks that way. After editing the footage we get so far, I'd say we're about an hour's worth of movie in the can. So we need to find a way to end the story in about 30 minutes, no matter how many possibilities you leave on the cutting room floor. At least Sir Tristan looks like he has a good idea up to his sleeve. He's a poet at heart, right? So I think he's come up with something that appeals to a wide audience. You're really enjoying this, aren't you, Doctor? Well, of course, I've been monitoring this whole thing in my head, too. I don't think I'm enjoying as much as you, since you're the one actually filming everything. But I've still been having a blast watching the whole production from start to finish. It is a shame that I haven't been able to see you in action since all the footage is from your perspective. But I figure Mask can fill me in on the side of things once you all get back. Still, the way things are going now, I might not be all smooth sailing. What do you mean? Do you think characters are still in danger? If only if Sir Tristan's idea turns out to be something violent. No, I have a different concern. I suspect the rest of the cast might be thinking the same lines as him. From everything I've seen so far, they've all gotten real into their roles. So it's only natural that they all want the character to be the star of the show and come out on top. I expect that this is true for you, Mash, am I wrong? Are you secretly hoping that Film gets to enjoy the spotlight too? Well, yes, I would like to record somebody's valiant figure on film for posterity. But I'm not a character. Right, so the real work is involved in the Singularity, it's just the beginning. German film, I'm guessing it won't be long now before you have to have each actor speaking up his own idea about how the film should end. I'm sure it'll all be interesting in some way, so I might even try bullying you into going with their ending. But no matter how good they are, we can't use all of them. A movie can only have one ending after all. So as the master, you're the one who's gonna have to choose. There's no right or wrong answer for this movie, and I'm sure each actor's idea for the ending will have some core truth to it. So I'd like you to think about what sort of movie you'd want to film before you make your decision. That will be the answer to the Singularity, and I think satisfying the loudest directive spirit will also help us get a better reward. Arash's script pitch. Questions to no battles, okay? Yeah, we should be able to hear off each of their ideas. Oh, well, I just forgot to mention, me and Father just finished watching the newest Castlevania season, and it is amazing. You also watch it. Hey, Master. Can I talk to you for a minute? I got an idea I wanted to share with you. Where's this coming from? Well, I was just kind of minding my business when an idea struck me. I know that we can't use the Pharaoh's original idea now that Vargas is dead. But if we just tweak it a little, I think we could still bring it back to life. You know, like a phoenix. You dare take pity on me, if so I will bring you to ashes on the spot. But I can see that I need not worry, very well, say your piece. How do you want to bring Vargas back to life? He was pretty definitively dead in that last scene. Especially since I was the one who pronounced him dead. Oh, I get it, you're saying we'd make Ryouma a liar. No, nothing like that. I'm not talking about Vargas himself coming back to life. And Ryouma wouldn't have any reason to lie, at least I don't think he would. Normally, one would look with my clairvoyance would reveal how things play out, but since this is not Singularity, the usual rules don't apply. So, what is this idea of yours? It's simple. Suffice it to say, I want to honor both you and Murasaki's wishes for the character. It's nothing exceptional, but I think a lot of people would be willing to accept it. In one sense, availing it here for the first time works out perfectly. How much longer do you intend to keep me waiting? Hurry and get to the point. Haha, sorry about that. Okay then, here's my idea for what it's worth. First off, let me ask you something. Do you remember what Murasaki told you back when she explained her characters to us? Of course, the time the beautiful woman told me. Now I understand. What an amusing idea you have come up with, Archer. Pharaoh Zamanis, can I ask what's going on? Huh, it would be uncouth for me to reveal it. Yes, I see. There was another joke in there. I saw how I missed it. I remember what Murasaki told us about our characters too. He said you two were the prince of Onadi Nada Kingdom and his attendant. Oh, now I get it. So that's your game. Ah, already figured it out, huh? Yep, you got it. So I can come up with anything better. I'm sorry, Wes, but I still don't understand. Can you tell me what it is you're talking about? You're really kind, aren't you, Missy? Okay, let me try this again. Murasaki told us that we were the princess's attendant. So far, I've been playing at the attendant, and the Pharaoh's been playing the princess, you'd expect. Right. Oh, you mean? I sure do. Now that Vargas is dead, I thought, what if we turn that around? I could be the prince, and Pharaoh could be my attendant. It'd be a huge twist. 10 years ago, after Pharaoh escaped the attack on the palace, the princess's attendant, Ricardo, and I had to survive, and eventually growing up to be a pair of fine young men. Though they didn't think the prince was a wanted man, they could never be completely sure. So they pretended their relationship was the inverse of its true nature, no matter how the prince's identity. Pretty much. Ah, I like it. Alright, for the moment, let's say we go with this. How do you explain what happened with Gabrielle and Salazar then? Not to mention, we still have to fit the portrait painter into all this. Oh, that was his. He started babbling. We can cut it out. No, don't worry. I got something in mind for that too. We can make it so that Salazar always wanted to kill Vargas, and that was why he poisoned the glass. But the result was that Gabrielle ended up being the one who took the poisoned glass. But his attempt failed. Salazar tried to make a more direct approach on killing Vargas once they were alone, only to die in the process. But why would Salazar do such a thing? I can't see what his motive could be. That's easy, because he was ordered to. But Salazar worked for Gabriella, didn't he? Not only did he fail to kill his target, he ended up almost killing his master. And on top of all that, he got himself killed when he tried again. Pretty poor excuse for an assassin, don't you think? Well, given how he bought it when he died, I don't think you can get around that. But hey now, not of course to make Gabriella to be the bad guy here, that'd be something else. Someone you never expect. Are you talking about me? Huh? True, I suppose having a detective to be the culprit would be quite a surprise. Oh no, I'm still not ready to play the cool and collected villain. That sounds like a great idea too, but no, that's not what I had in mind. I'm so embarrassed. I noticed this when I was watching the footage. After we recorded the first scene, Mosaki only told two of the actors that the roles were over. Old Man Tajima and Iso. But he never said that Moriarty. Oh. Oh, now I get it. Since Moriarty's part in the movie wasn't over, Murasaki must have been planning to have his character come back, right? So you're saying Miguel was alive all along? Then what gives with the funeral? No, wait, it was Salazar who ran the funeral. And as Miguel's loyal servant, he would have certainly had no issue aiding his master to fake his death. Sure, I have no idea why Murasaki might want Moriarty's character to stick around. I'm just choosing to believe that he did because it makes my idea work better. Maybe what he does is that Moriarty comes back in a disguise just like a painter, but then reveals himself. Perhaps he knew he wanted to keep me around as production assistant. She might have also planned on filming flashback scenes. Either way, I think it's a great idea. That would mean the portrait painter is Miguel. Haha, looks like you got me. You seem pleased. Of course, it's been too long since I got to play the mastermind. Well, maybe not all that long. Even after he retired, he was still be the new nation founding hero, so he'd have retained his vast influence. What does not mean the Republic Nadi's political situation was stable. There were surely some factions who saw Miguel not as a hero, but as an obstacle. I see, the threat of assassination must have all been looming over his head. Thus he planned to fake his death, to remove himself from the spotlight, while continuing to rule behind the scenes to Gabriella. But then he lost his prince and his attendants suddenly sold up A Meihousou, endangering everything he had planned. Miguel did not know if he were to hear my acts Miguel did not know if he were here by Miguel did not know if here by coincidence or to seek revenge. Either way, he decided to take care of them before they could discover anything that might be true and jeopardize his plans. And that's why Miguel ordered Salazar to pick up Vargas, who he thought was the prince. The last part of my idea involves Garcia confronting Miguel directly in his hidden chamber inside the Meihousou. Anyway, that's basically what I've got. How do you think? I guess you could say it's my amateurish attempt at solving this mystery. You're welcome to use it as is, punch it up, or just toss it in the air with whole cloth. Although if you do decide to go with it, I'll let you film a side of me I don't usually show anyone. Oh, that's interesting. We almost script pitch, okay? I wonder what he has right here. Now that Arash has shared his idea, would you mind if I went next? By all means, go right ahead. I'll be the one who decides the real ending no matter who else goes before me. Thanks, okay, here's what I got. I've been thinking about why Ryouma Kureshi came here and what he hoped to accomplish. Ryouma used to serve in the nation's military and reported directly to Miguel himself. He certainly had plenty of official avenues for success if he chose to pursue them. But instead he chose to leave and practice medicine in a small town, even though the work of creating a new country had been much more interesting. Good point. It sounds like he must have been sick and tired of war by then. Exactly. But that probably means Ryouma would never want to see Miguel again if he could help it. Because that would only bring back painful memories for him. That's my guess too, but despite all that, he still chose to attend Miguel's funeral. He must have had some reason for that, and I don't think it had anything to do with money. Given how close he was to Miguel, Ryouma would know more about Cortez's legacy than anyone other than Miguel himself. Right, and there's more to the legacy than just treasure. It also packed with all kinds of sensitive documents. I think Ryouma wanted to find it because he believed it contained the truth about his friend's disappearance. If it turned out his friend was actually living a happy life somewhere else, great. And in more likely event that he wasn't, at least he could have had some closure. He couldn't turn the police and the unstable government still had its hands full maintaining order and developing a new nation. So he decided to slip Gabrielle a drug, and take advantage of the ensuing investigation to explore the Meihousou and look at Cortez's legacy. So then, how did he get the drug in her drink? Good question. Of course, it would be impossible to make sure she chose just the right glass. Especially since as the host, he would have never made up with the last one. So here's what I'm thinking. Gabrielle was already at the peak exhaustion, taking me far outside the comfort zone for so long. The glass wasn't actually poison. The wine she drank was just a straw that broke the proverbial camel's back. Ryouma figured this out after a quick examination and thought of a way to take advantage of her unconsciousness. He pretended to give her an antidote, which actually gave her a palatable sedative. As a doctor, that's something only I could have pulled off, don't you think? However, Ryouma didn't account for Salazar going berserk. Does that mean you're not actually going to have Salazar and Dies will secretly be the same person? Definitely not. He's lived and died by the sword. It was everything to him. There's no way he wouldn't keep up with his training, even if he lost all his memories. I don't have the heart to remind Ryouma that Dies aren't actually the same person. Like Arash said in his own idea, I think we can safely assume that Iso's role in this movie is over. You're just embarrassing to perform with Iso face to face, aren't you, Ryouma? It's not that, Oya. Please don't just pop out of nowhere like that. You scared me. Besides, Iso's not the kind of person who could do something like that. At worst, he could just flip out and ruin the whole production. That's just one reason not to bring it back. But I still have to justify his presence in the story. When Murasaki first explained my character to me, he said that Ryouma Koreshi was a sansei, third-generation Japanese immigrant. Oh, that's why there's Japanese people in the movie. And I'm not alone. This country is home to a relatively large number of people with similar backgrounds. Iso's character full name is Daiso Oka. Needless to say, it's also a Japanese name. We didn't know his character was Ryu Tan. His last name might be Chinese or might have originally been the Japanese name Tan he changed during immigration. These names might be simple, but they still follow definitive rules. Even my character's family named Koreshi has a precedence in real life. They think it means knife on stone or something? How does that mean? Pretty much, yes. Anyway, given that our characters were all named to match our ethnicity, why did Murasaki do the same for hers? Oh yeah, I was wondering why she named her character Gabrielle too. So my theory is that Gabrielle is actually Daiso's younger sister. Miguel changed her name once he took her in. Though I admit that he might be a bit of a stretch. And the odds would just have to use their imagination to fill in the gaps, I guess. Okay, here's the thrust of it. We know from the earlier scene that Ryouma got his hands on some top secret documents. I didn't give them much thought during the scene, but I think I got a good idea for them now.
It looks like someone's getting quite accustomed to improvisation.
What if they were a report detailing how Daiso died? It's not as though you actually write what they say, so how would you handle that aspect? Well, I do have one possible scenario in my mind. I think Daiso's the kind of guy who would go down swinging and make sure that he takes as many enemies with him as he could. But if he died in a blaze of glory like that, Ryouma would have long since heard about that, right? And if he died already heard about it, we wouldn't have to come out his way looking for answers. So if he died quietly, that would inevitably mean the incredibly skilled swordsman must have killed him in secret. And I can only think of one character who fits the bill. Oh, you mean General Tan? From Miguel's perspective, both Tan and Daiso were forces to be reckoned with who could turn on him at any time. So naturally he'd want them to take each other out. It seems like it would be much easier said than done. True, General Tan didn't seem like anyone's fool. I doubt he would fight without a good cause.
Yes, well, considering who was playing, I'm not surprised you came away with that impression.
So if one of them was going to challenge the other, it would be Daiso, and he seemed like he'd be a lot easier to manipulate, don't you think? If we filmed it, I imagine it seemed to go something like,
Kill that old ham, and I swear on my life that I will see us super cared for and protected.
then they fight and end up killing each other. I see, that does seem like it would end up all loose. That does seem like it would tie up all loose ends. Not to mention, it sounds like exactly something more Miguel would do.
Good heavens, could you all just be a touch kinder to me? Gentlemen my age have surprisingly thin skin.
Due to his word, Miguel took Daiso's sister and raised her to be a proper lady. But then he broke his word and married her. If Daiso had known this would happen, he'd probably have gone absolutely nuts and cut Miguel down on the spot. So what happens now that Ryouma knows the truth? Is this the end of the story? Nope, that's just halfway point. This Ryouma seemed like the kind of person who would just pack his bags and leave after finding out what really happened. No, the real question is what he does after he learns the truth. Now then, Serbian film. I see this much the same way Arash did. In other words, I think Miguel was alive and biding his time somewhere in the mansion. But now he's panicking after losing his pawn, Salazar, in the before-the-scene accident. So Ryouma asks Garcia for help. He suspects Garcia knows his way around A Meihousou so well. And above all, he knows Garcia's desire to avenge Vargas is genuine. Working together, they manage to find Miguel's hideout. But when they confront him, he only has one thing to say. So what happens next? What happens next isn't obvious. Anyway, I don't know if we're going to go with this idea or not. It's honestly embarrassing to lay it out like this. But if we do go with it, I plan on taking it real seriously. Anyway, I hope you all at least mull it over. They said it was obvious. I have no idea what the hell would happen next. I'm not good at this. God. I like Rash's idea a bit more with the war idea, but now I want to know what happens. It's blue balling me. Shit. Salieri script twitch. Now that has escalated into a detective competition, or rather a contest to see who can come up with more solid structure for the story. I would like to throw my hat into the ring. In fact, I feel I must. You too, Salieri? I mean, your characters just seem to draw much less attention compared to everyone else, so... Of course, I have questions, though, not about the film. What is it I'm doing here? No, never mind that. I already decided I would try to live up to the Queen's hopes for me. I have been thinking about this man I have been inhabiting, Antonio. I wasn't able to learn much about it from Murasaki Sikabu, so I still don't know who he is. All I know is he shares my name and also used to be a court musician. Ha, a bit of ironic. Still, if I assume there is a slight chance that Antonio was a flesh-and-blood person who truly existed, but I can imagine what he must be thinking. It took me some time, but eventually I did arrive at the core of Antonio ways. Yeah, it was tough getting into her characters, wasn't it? I'm just glad Murasaki helped me out by making Ryouma similar to me. Indeed, she did the same for me and Antonio. It was a conscious choice on her part. Once I realized that, the rest was relatively easy. Now, at the same time, I also noticed there was a contradiction in the story. A contradiction? Given how much has been improvised, I'm not sure there's much point in worrying about the contradiction or two. No, this one goes back to the very beginning. When Murasaki Sikabu was still involved with the production, I suspected she planned to detail intentionally. I thought that long and hard about what that could mean.
I don't remember anything strange. All I remember is the footage came out well.
That was from the very beginning. Go on, think back. So we remember this exchange between Antonio and Ryouma. Oh, that's alright. At any rate, I'm surprised you made it through the massacre. If I remember, they slaughtered everyone in the palace that day, even non-combatants. That's, oh yeah, I remember that now, but that's so weird. What's so weird about that line? Everything. Take Vargas and Garcia. How do you think they survived the massacre when the castle fell? How the hell should I know? Maybe they just got lucky? You need to ask. The royal family's detained. Clearly we're still alive to help them escape. That is what it is to be a loyal servant, even in the face of the country's imminent collapse. You don't say. Maybe that means Vargas and Garcia have been fending for themselves and all the time because they were the only ones who managed to escape. Besides, maybe it's because the prince with disloyalty like that when things were so dire, that he grew up with such a strong sense of justice. Now that I think about it, it does seem strange that the former government's court musician would have survived. Exactly, but the cast of felt the only ones meriting any sort of production would have been royalty. And Tony would never have been spared, no matter how talented a musician he may have been.
Perhaps Antonio had some fans among the court, as the prince has his retainers.
Fans so devoted to be willing to list of lies for him, no one would do that, even for a peerless genius, let alone an ordinary person. I can think of a few. For the purposes of this story, I assume that there was no one quite so odd as that. No, the reason Antonio survived the attack is obvious. He was relieved of his post as court musician just before the revolution took place. Yeah, that tracks, but why was he fired then? Ha, as if you need to ask. Because he lacked talent. And without such talent, he must have been utterly lost once he no longer had his position at the palace. That's awful. But then, in that case, how did he become such a popular musician? There's a great deal of difference between what is popular with the mass and what is appreciated at court. Okay, yeah. Basically pop music. A great deal of difference. Sounds like a guy speaking from experience. I am not Salieri. There's no point in bringing that up now. Alright, that's to fill in the blanks for Antonio's background. The next question is, why did he so fervently wish to come to the Meihousou? Now that you mention it, he did say he had to pull every string he could just to get in here. After hearing rumors that Miguel had a fondness for young women, he may have thought to present Elise as a gift. Well, scumbag, much prick, so do will favor die in a fire. Hell, I got some gas and plenty of matches right here ready to burn, asshole.
Just as a reminder, there still hasn't been a single crime committed here.
Anyway, I still don't get why Antonio would do that. He probably found his success as a popular musician, right? He's got fame and money. What else would a guy want at this point? That's exactly it. Antonio came to Meihousou and so something neither fame nor money could provide him. Something he wanted badly enough that he was willing to sell off his own partner. And what was that? Sheet music. The sheet music left here by the past court musicians. I don't know how much they left behind. Whatever it was had to be in here at the Meihousou. The guy was going around collecting all sorts of documents anyway, so don't see why sheet music could be among them. No matter how successful Antonio was among the large populace, he could never wipe away the stain on his usual failure, and he found himself unable to turn away from it completely. For he wanted to see the music his dead colleague had left behind one more time. He had to know for sure. Had he made up for his prior lack of skill over the past 10 years, or was the gap insurmountable, no matter how much more talent he worked? They do say, to from experience, you want to quickly infuse a work with gravitas. Well, the finer details are, of course, quite different. I would seem to bring elements of Antonio Salieri's own life here to bear out.
I don't want to throw at the viewer, but that's how it should be.
I think it's a wonderful idea. But it doesn't really get to the truth of the larger story or help with the conclusion, does it? If we went with it, it would make the story all about Antonio rather than the murder of the Meihousou. I did think about how I could fit the story's existing pieces together. But I'm not as practiced at this as the others. Don't expect too much regarding the truth of this case. That's it, I did think of a conclusion. I imagine it's just the sort of thing you would expect from an Avenger.
Well, what is it? Calling me curious. I, for one, would be quite interested in hearing a conclusion that doesn't cast me as a mastermind.
I see no point in going into detail on the story that may never be filmed. All I will say for now is that we do said about filming it, I respect Annalisa Tristan's help. I see. What if my help is required, and I'm glad to give it. Though, of course, that would never happen, since my idea is sure to be the one that's chosen. At least I think so. Hey, what got you so worked up? Yeah, I'm not feeling Salieri's too much. He doesn't really know, and he doesn't have the experience with this. So about Arash's or, either Arash's or, Tristan's. Which one should I choose? Which one? They both seem good. Wait, no, not Arash and Tristan's. It's, Ryouma's and Arash's. Right. No, I think... Why did I think it was the other one for some reason? Memory of a goldfish. Let's see what Jeanne says. Guess it's my turn now. Oh, I thought it would go next, but of course, I'm gonna have to let you go first. After all, there's no way you could top the idea I've come up with.
Tristan seems like he's come up with something interesting, but I expect this contest winners will be determined more by who speaks the first.
Don't mind if I do, then. First off, how do you guys interpret Elise's mood at the beginning? Well, since he saw someone she dislikes enough to insult mercilessly collapse in front of her, I guess I'd say she was in kind of a well-suck-it mood. I remember Murasaki Sekiro asking Jeanne all to say the many mean things as possible. It's like you were born for the role, so this is at times where you think you might be culprit. Thanks for the praise, romantic technique, Master. For your sake, I hope you're ready to pay the price. Anyway, that's all Lisa struck me as being jealous and petty. I can see why you guys would think that, but my interpretation is completely different. I know Elise isn't exactly delicate wallflower type, especially not with me playing her. Yeah, really nothing. Oh, so glad I bit my tongue there. Anyway, I read something very interesting in May philosophy the other book the other day. Let's be honest, Jeanne, you're weak. It said that people only get jealous of others who have something they want. I don't really know anything about that kind of whiny crap, but it sounds right to me. Yeah, that's basically what envy is. So if Elise was jealous of Gabrielle, you might think it's because of her money. But it could be that because Elise was already comfortable in the sitting career and on the way to being truly rich. No, I think it was Elise who was actually jealous of her. It would only be because Gabrielle was a better singer. So I don't think she was jealous. I think it goes deeper than that. Well, if Elise really did upset Gabrielle, it'd probably make her professional life a lot harder, no matter how popular a singer she is. Indeed, if she cared about her career that much, I couldn't imagine she would truly risk incurring an authority figure's wrath. And if she really disliked Gabrielle, she could have just badmouthed her behind her back. So if Elise wasn't jealous of Gabrielle, what did she feel? I'd say she was strongly fixated on her. Huh? The way I see it, Elise had a very personal reason for coming to the Meihousou. A reason that motivated her to pull every string she could to get in, just like Antonia did for his sheet music. She wanted to see her beloved childhood friend again. Childhood friend, who would that be? Back when this country was still the kingdom of Nadi Nada, Elise was a child living in poverty. There's no way she would have had a good life in the final months leading up to her coup, but Elise is a close friend she's always leaning on for support. I think that friend was Gabriella. Let's say she was called Carl back when she was a little girl. Well, I'm at it. I adopt Ryoma's idea of making her Dias' lost sister. Thanks, I'm honored. And since we already had a scene where I thought Elise might be Dias' sister, there shouldn't be any promise that wasn't that you're around the same age. But then one day, Carl suddenly disappeared. Rumor had it that General Cortez took her in as a daughter. And since Elise was a commoner, there was no way she'd be able to see her friend again now that she's basically royalty. But Elise didn't give up. She vowed to see her friend again and used one very few familiar bonds he had to find Antonio. And worked hard to become a figure famous enough to rub shoulders with royalty. Eventually, all that hard work paid off, so he finally came face to face with Carl again. Gabrielle didn't treat her like a childhood friend. If anything, it seems he didn't recognize her at all. He don't know if she really did recognize me, if she was just pretending not to. That's in my throat. Help. Yeah. Help. Some of my fingers. But either way, I can imagine how pissed I would be come all this way already hear my closest childhood friend ignore me. I think that's why he's such a bitch to her, even though I was very happy to see he was alive as well. You still over there a bit. Yeah, probably. Also, shut up. Think about it from Carl's perspective. There's nothing she can do about her brother going missing or about being taken by some creepy old guy from the old court. It doesn't matter how nice her new life was, she was still a burden in the old cage. She must have had to bury her feelings deep down just to get through the day. That's why I wanted Carl to stop suffering in silence. I wanted to hear how she really felt, even if it meant she'd never speak to me again, that's all. That's a lot to take in, but I left how dramatic and easy, although, does that mean Elise isn't culprit then? Hell no. There's no way Elise would do anything to ruin her chance of seeing Gabrielle's reaction after coming all this way. If anything, she'd be furious at the culprit for robbing her of this opportunity. Not to mention that if Gabrielle ends up dying from this, she'd never have another chance to talk to her. So Elise would throw everything she had in finding her culprit for Gabrielle's sake as much as her own. The culprit, huh? Would Miguel throw the wall here just like he has in other scenarios? Oh yeah, Miguel. Nah, the old keep can stay dead so he doesn't get in the way. Ouch! Just deal with it. You've been dead this whole time anyway. And Elise wouldn't have any other reason to go undergo concentrating, so she could do a fight scene anyway. Besides, I already knew how the story ends. But if Miguel is a mastermind, how do you intend to tie up all the loose ends? Simple. Gabrielle is a young widow, so there's no reason to think that people around her might get some wicked ideas. I'd say her servants wanted to steal all of Cortez's legacy for themselves. Makes sense. The government could take back any amount of property they tried to steal. But if they dirt load of people in power, they'd give them considerably more freedom to act as they like. But of course, they'd be first suspected if they kill Gabrielle when no one else is around, so they wait for an opportunity like this to try and poison her. All they'd have to do in this pit is to climb on one of the guests. Yeah, that works. This way they can tell the city that Salazar tried to go far. Fuck! This way they can say that Salazar tried to come forward to make himself look like a suicide. So does it make Salazar the culprit? Would it not be something that could match to have him already be dead from the film's conclusion? Yes, it's servants plural. Salazar's not the only one in this scenario. A number of servants, Still, we never see any of the other servants during the film. How would you explain that? I mean, sure, that's a little weird if you think about it, but it's also weird that there would only be one servant in this giant mansion, right? True, that is highly unrealistic. So you can say that there's actually lots of servants behind the scenes, and they just don't ever actually appear on screen. Now I see, that sounds like a great idea. I suppose you could request the Cortez staff play the servants, but that seems a lot to ask this late in the production. Well, sure, it'd be a huge challenge getting 10 or 20 extras here at this point, but we don't have to do that. All we need is a single actor. And luckily for us, we got someone perfectly ordinary and unremarkable right here with us. I'm afraid I don't know who you mean. Ah, you're so dense. You're standing right there, looking like a confused dweeb even as we speak. Aren't you, sir, in film? Wait, don't you mean... Wait, what are you talking about? How are you such an idiot? I'm talking about making you into the culprit, dumbass. Well, that's interesting. After the director play a part in the film, I guess I'm going with the Taika Waititi role. That's it. Oh, sorry, I'm afraid I got a little carried away. I see Jeanne Alto's idea as a staple of mystery movies, where it turns out the person behind the camera was actually one of the characters all along. And above all, this way Senpai can be part of the cast too. I think it's a wonderful idea. Good point of servant from servant here. It makes sense he'd be striking close to us all this time. Well, I haven't done anything close to acting since grade 12, so it might be a bit of an issue. And also means he'd be able to keep an eye on everything and move about freely. In this sense, it would make him a more villain than Moriarty. Was it really necessary to bring me into this? Then, why do I point the culprit on the camera and do a 180? And reveal Zurian Film as the mastermind who's going to have been working behind the scenes this whole time. That sounds interesting. I've been meaning to murder something lately. Haven't done it since the chickens. Intriguing. Your idea has a great merit to it, firewoman. Damn straight. Still, I know it's kind of strict, so I would blame you if it's not what you go with. No, it sounds great. You got everyone else's idea incorporated into yours. It sounds like a good idea. You know, being creative kinds fun. Come to think of it, you also said you already knew how the story ends, right, John Alter? Would you tell us what you have in mind? Oh, well, it's nothing that special. After I reveal the culprit, it's basically just a scene of me and Snow Sleep with Gabrielle, and I tell her how I really feel. As for how that would go, you can find out once you start filming. It also works for me too, because I'm taking a few art classes over the last... I had at least 6 years of art classes, so yeah, and it would be perfect since the killing would be the paint. Yeah, that'll be interesting. Tristan's script, let's see what he has. I'm thinking of going Jeanne, because they combine all of it, but let's see what Tristan has. He's on the color. On another note, I'm very impressed by how much thought you all put into your ideas. But of course, Isidore is a great detective, so he is bound to be just as good, if not better, right, Tristan? You gotta speak up? Tristan? I'm done for. What's wrong? You look like it's the end of the world or something. I can't believe you had the same idea as me. Oh, fuck's sake. Okay, never mind. Great minds do think alike. I think everything on my originality, and now I don't have an original leg to stand on. Just say you saw your Alter. If I say my idea was to make Master culprit now, they'll say I was just whipping up Sean. That's why you need to speak up first. Mass being a detective seems much more difficult than it seems. There may be another author blessed with special privileges, but after a hard day of almost nothing propping them up. The fact that I cannot rely on drama for the conclusion like the rest of you left me at a great disadvantage. I see now that I should have been canting clues for the conclusion earlier in the story. Perhaps something that would let me claim to see could be another character's brother or a character everyone else thought was dead. Tristan, by the time I found myself wishing to take on the lead role, it was already too late. Alas, if I only realized his film sooner. Oh, also Jeanne was also doing almost all the actual detective work. True, at this point I can't tell what his character is even doing here. Indeed, for that matter, it doesn't even justify why he's carrying a harp around this whole time. Have you just been asleep this whole time? The way things are going now, Isidore will be nothing but a useless scarecrow claiming to be a great detective. Can I truly let things end this way? No, I cannot. Hey, spare stole sackcloth and acid routine. Though it's true that up to this point, you haven't done a single solitary detective thing. Ow. Your words cut deeper than any blade. But it's alright, I decided to come at things from a different angle and make use of my incompetence. Tristan? Given that all at this point, Isidore is indeed a detective in name only. What if I was actually Adrian and been controlling him all along? Then upon revealing himself as the true detective, Adrian and identify the culprit, that would be the end. Oh, so you take my subverted expectation idea running with him, huh? I like it. Well, if we go with death, you're gonna need a real doozy of an explanation. Ah yes, that's the explanation. At this point, I'd say any of them would do. Huh? As long as we keep crossing over any accidents and filming the way we have been, it doesn't matter what truth ultimately is. I would any one of the ideas before come up with work fine. Wouldn't that mean abandoning the larger premise? No, it wouldn't, because the clues I have in mind is after that part. Oh, did you not just say it would be the end after AGL solves the mystery? Besides, try looking at things a little differently. Are you all been preoccupied with solving the Meihousou murder mystery? My kids have all solved the mystery of this Hollywood house to itself. You got a way to make that out of character for yourself as part of the movie. So you'd be including our own actual confession in the story, huh? That would change everything about the movie. We should arguably never have tried to film a movie without an overarching theme in mind. So now that we have, we can make Murasaki go fainting incident a true mystery. What if her fainting wasn't actually an unfortunate accident, but only decides to look like one? And if that were the case, who would stand to benefit from moving her from the scene? What does not sound like an interesting mystery?
You want a meta route, huh? Though that could work for a puzzle mystery as long as you don't take it seriously, don't you? Oh, just a second. Well. Hey. Oh yeah, I was trying, just a second, you can turn up the volume on the phone here. There we go. What were you saying? Oh yeah, I was about to call you because I'm doing recording a video here. I wanted to see if there was any guests up here so you can record it and hear it. I had no idea. Nearly done here. I'll call you when I'm ready. Okay, bye. There we go. Shit. Where was I? Okay. No, that could work for the puzzle mystery as long as you take it seriously. No, you're stressing this to the breaking point. That said, you need to have a really good explanation. The viewers will accept it. What you got?
I shouldn't put my hand any further. All I will say is that I guarantee it will be interesting. After all, I am a detective. So you're saving the best part for your own character, huh? I am very curious about Tristan's idea. At any rate, we now have 5 possible endings to choose from. They all sound great, but we sadly don't have time to film them all. I guess things turn out just like Dr. Roman said they would. What do you say, Master? If only I could choose one. Yes. I'll have to go with... Oh, here we are. Yeah, I'm just gonna cut that off right there, so you don't see the ending, cause I think it's already been decided from the poll, but I am thinking to go, so, yeah, I don't exactly have the choice, cause I kind of got to do it a bit, too late. It was under the implication that people wouldn't be recording and do everything in one. So yeah. What seems to be most interesting is Tristan's right now, because it seems like he took, he mentioned that it's pretty much the same as Jolter's idea, but added a few things to make his character make sense. So I'm really thinking of going with his ending. Well, I say that, but the ending has already been chosen, but I want to go with Tristan's ending, so we'll figure out which ending is chosen next time. I hope you enjoyed this, and as always, stay safe out there, be good, see ya. Yep, bye.